Dear students, in the last lecture we were discussing about slip power recovery schemes and the speed control of induction motor drives. We have discussed about the static Kramer drive in the last lecture. Now we will discuss about static Servius drive in this lecture. So first of all we will see the circuit diagram of static Servius drive. So here we can see the circuit diagram of static Servius drive. Now here we can see that here is an induction motor and that is getting the three-phase AC supply, and here is one diode bridge rectifier circuit, and in this side we are having a thyristor bridge inverter circuit, and with the help of the transformer the power is fed back to the AC supply. Now we can see that the slip ring power is fed to this diode bridge rectifier circuit, and this diode bridge rectifier circuit rectifies the input and DC voltage is developed, and this DC voltage is fed to thyristor bridge inverter circuit, and this thyristor bridge inverter circuit convert this DC power back into the AC, and this AC with the help of a transformer fed back to the main supply circuit. So in this way we can see that slip power which is wasted before, which is not converted into useful mechanical power, is converted and fed back to the mains AC supply. So now we can see the mathematical derivation here. If we consider that there is no commutation overlap, the DC output of the uncontrolled three-phase bridge rectifier can be given as VDC equal to 3 Vm upon pi, and that can be given as 3 root 2 VL upon pi, or we can say that this is equal to 1.35 VR into S, since we know that VL is equal to VR into S, where Vm is maximum value of line voltage, VR line rotor voltage at standstill, and S is the fractional slip. For line commutated three-phase inverter with negligible overlap, average back EMF can be given as V1 equal to 3 Vm upon pi into cos alpha, or we can say that 3 root 2 VL upon pi cos alpha, since we know that Vm is equal to root 2 VL, or simply we can write V1 equal to 1.35 VL cos alpha. Here VL is source line voltage and alpha is inverter firing angle. Further, we can see that if there is no load, the motor torque is negligible and rectified motor current is almost zero. Therefore, VDC plus V1 is equal to 0. Now we have calculated the VDC and V1. We can put those values here. So if we put those values here, we find that 1.35 VR into S plus 1.35 VL cos alpha is equal to 0. Solving this equation will get S. Now S is equal to A cos alpha, modulus of cos alpha, where A is the effective stator to rotor turn ratio of the motor, and therefore the speed control can be obtained by simply variation of firing angle of the inverter. If A is unity, no load speed of the motor can be controlled from near standstill to the full load, as we know that modulus of cos alpha is varied almost from unity to 0. Further, we know that usually the value of A is greater than unity, which results in low rotor voltage. Consequently, a transformer is often required between AC supply network and the inverter in order to step down the utility voltage to a level that is approximate for a slip ring circuit. If transformer turn ratio for the utility side relative to the inverter side is denoted by small a t, then the AC line voltage applied to the inverter terminals is now become VL upon AT, and the equation which was previously S equal to A modulus cos alpha can be modified as S equal to A cos alpha upon AT. Now, in order to develop motor torque, a rotor current is required, and the rectified rotor voltage must force the current flow against the inverter back EMF. As the induction motor is loaded, the speed falls slightly so that the resulting increase in the rotor voltage can overcome the voltage drops in rotor winding and in the DC link circuit. There are voltage drop in rotor winding as well as in the DC link circuit. Further, we can see that the fundamental rotor slip power can be given as S into PAG is approximately equal to DC link power if rotor resistance is small. Then we can write S into PAG equal to V1 into ID, or PAG can be given as V1 into ID divided by S, as we know that PG can also be given as torque multiplied by the speed, and tau multiplied by omega s. So if we place this T, then T is equals to PAG upon omega s. Now if we place the value of this PAG from a previous one, then we can see that the T is equals to V1 ID upon S divided by omega s, or we can say that T is equal to V1 ID upon S into omega s. Now substituting the value of V1 which we have previously derived, V1 equal to 1.35 VL cos alpha, in the above equation we will get T equal to 1.35 VL ID cos alpha upon S into omega s. Now if we substitute the value of S, that S equal to A cos alpha in the above equation, we get T is equal to 1.35 VL ID upon A into cos omega s. From this equation we can clearly see that the torque is inversely proportional to omega s, and we also know that the current ID is the difference of rectified rotor voltage and the average back EMF of the inverter divided by the resistance of the DC link inverter. But the inverter EMF is constant for fixed firing angle, and hence the rotor slip increases linearly with load torque. giving torque speed characteristics similar to that of separately excited DC motor with armature voltage control. So we can see that the torque and torque and speed characteristics like this, where if we where alpha 2 is greater than alpha 1 greater than alpha. So this type of characteristics can be obtained. Further, we can see the advantages and disadvantages of static SerBes drive. As we have already discussed that the slip power is fed back to AC line, so the efficiency of this system is higher as compared to the voltage control scheme. Secondly, in case of static SerBes drive, the current decreases with speed, while in case of AC voltage control, the current increases as speed decreases. Then power factor in this case is very low even for full load speed. For this type of drive, the initial cost is high, but the running cost is very low. Now we can see here the closed loop control of the SerBes drive. In this closed loop control, we can see clearly one induction motor is there and the slip power is fed to the diode circuit, uncontrolled diode bridge rectifier, and here we can see a thyristor bridge inverter circuit is there. With the help of this and with the help of the transformer, the power is fed back to the main AC supply. Here we can see the closed loop control. Speed is sensed with the help of a sensor, and here we can feed which is the required speed. The error of the actual speed and the required speed or the desired speed is given to the speed controller. The output of the speed controller is given to a current limiter circuit, and the current limiter circuit gives the desired value of the ID, current ID, and here it is sensed that what is the actual value of ID. So actual value and the desired values are compared, and an error signal is given to the current controller, and this current controller gives a signal to the firing circuit, and the firing angle alpha is controlled as per the desired value. So by controlling this alpha, we can control the speed of the induction motor. So this is the complete closed loop control system. So by controlling the alpha of the inverter circuit, we can simply control the speed of the induction motor. So in this way we can control the speed with the help of static SerBes drive. Thank you.